We are going to bring in Kelly Flemming, Senior Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Oakland University. Kelly, thank you for being with us on the Oakland County MegaCast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So can you tell us, school's just about to start. Excited? I mean, this is a crazy time for these students, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited to have students back with us this fall. We'll have students both on campus and online with us as well. And so we have a brand new class getting ready to start. We have students coming back, so we're excited to welcome them back to campus both in person and virtually.
So Kelly, how is the decision made about when to bring them back, or how to bring them back virtually versus in person?
Yeah, the university has been working really closely with public health officials to determine what's going to be the best method to keep our students safe and help them really finish their degrees in a timely manner as well. So as I mentioned, we'll have a combination of offerings for our students this year. A majority of classes will be online, both synchronous and asynchronous. And then we'll also have a small number of students on campus. About 20% of classes will meet in person, but it's going to look different. We'll be masked and social distancing on campus, so it'll look a little bit different.
So some of the students, because of everything that's going on, some want the college experience and have been considering doing gap years. Do you recommend that? Don't recommend that? And do you think that they could lose out on part of this experience if they do take a gap year?
Yeah, it's definitely dependent upon the specific student situation. We typically don't recommend a gap year. At Oakland, we don't see a lot of requests for gap years typically. We might see some students that are doing perhaps some religious work, or they might be in the military, or things of that nature is what we typically see students take a gap year for. We don't typically recommend it, especially, in times like these when students potentially could do online coursework and, stay on track to graduate. We don't always see students come back after that gap year. The workforce might be not the best option for them right now. And they could lose out on financial aid that they've already worked really hard to earn. And so we wouldn't want to see that happen for students. So if students are considering the gap year, we definitely recommend that they talk to us about their specific situation, and we would see what we could do. But overall, we don't usually recommend it. We'd like to see students get started on that degree, progress through that degree, and then enter the workforce with that degree.
Kelly Flemming with us, Senior Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Oakland University. And Kelly, on that note, with financial aid and assistance that is available to returning students through the Federal CARES Act, there is some funding that is available through Oakland University for students that are returning. Can go into details about what that funding can go towards and how students may be able to apply for it, as that's still available to them.
Yeah, there is actually aid still available for a limited amount of time. Even if students have received some of that grant money previously, if circumstances have changed, they have additional needs, they could definitely apply for additional aid, which I think is important for them to know. So if a student was enrolled with us when the pandemic hit in March, they can apply through our financial services office for that emergency grant money, and for a wide variety of things that may have come up for them, that they may be struggling financially. We want to make sure that, they have money to help pay for school, but that they've got other, necessities covered as well. So they can apply right on the financial aid website and indicate their needs. And like I said, even if they were OU students previously, they were enrolled during this pandemic, they've maybe earned a little bit of grant money, to help pay for some things. If things have changed, then we would want them to reach out to us, and we could see what we could do to help them there too.
Kelly Flemming, Senior Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Oakland University, who is also our Facebook partner of the day, and we appreciate that. We're seeing a lot of students remote learning right now. Are there advantages and disadvantages to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've mentioned a few times, it definitely depends on the student and, what their strengths are. But there's a lot of resources on campus. As we've, been working in this more virtual environment over the last few months, we've transitioned all of our student services to also be virtual options as well. So if students are concerned about their ability to be successful in the virtual online remote class environment, we've definitely got resources to help them. So all of the student services, tutoring center, writing center, academic advising, counseling, everyone that is employed on campus to help support students is still working really hard to do that for students, and they can do that in a virtual environment. So if students feel most comfortable in an online course and working with us in a virtual capacity, we can definitely accommodate that and help them find some strategies. Some of our students have been taking online courses for a long time. Some of our students, this is new for them, and so there's definitely kind of a transition happening, and so we definitely want to support them through that. So in addition to the specific student, some benefits to students is that they're, able to save some money by not commuting to campus. They're saving a little bit of time by not coming to campus. If they're concerned about health, they can stay at their residence and do their coursework. So we see some good things in that regard. We're able, to still see students interacting with one another and learning from one another. As I mentioned, there's two types of online courses. Some of them are still meeting live stream where students are talking real time to each other. We've also got traditional online courses where they may be communicating with each other in open forums. So there's definitely some positives to students being able to take courses this way. It's definitely more flexible if they're still working. We see some students that, are going to see a little bit of a transition, but we're hoping that all of these services are available to help them transition, and it won't be too hard going forward in the fall for them to do so.
Kelly Flemming with us. She is the Senior Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Oakland University. So kids are returning to school. Seniors are returning to high school this year, still getting ready to go on to their next step after this unprecedented year ahead of them. Same with high school juniors who are looking into colleges, have taken their tests and are applying. What should those high school upperclassmen be doing right now, even during this year under these circumstances, to prepare themselves for the admission process and even for when they do eventually go off to higher education, if that's their choice?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely still an abundance of resources available for students who are going into their senior year of high school and looking to attend college next year. We have been working really hard to make sure that there are virtual options for students during this time. So students can still connect with colleges that they have interest in. There's a variety of virtual college fairs. We participate in the National Association of College Academic Counseling Fairs. Those students can sign in right from their computers or phones at home and chat with us, see presentations, ask questions. So we're definitely still going to be available in those formats for some quick Q&As. We're offering a lot of events we typically would bring students for faculty and current students in this virtual space too. So there's a lot of what students could have been doing, pre-pandemic, they're going to be able to do virtually with us. I think one important thing for students to know is that a lot of schools, including Oakland, have gone test optional for the fall of 2020. So those students still enrolling for this September, and then for next year's class as well. And so there are definitely potential changes to the admissions process that they may have learned about last year. So that's why it would be important to definitely connect with the schools they're looking at applying to. But it's definitely going to work in their benefit.
Going back to seniors, such a big part of making that all-important decision as to which college to attend comes down to those college visits. What's that going to look like this year?
Yeah, we've started doing in-person campus tours again, really small numbers, socially distanced. So students can still come to campus if they feel comfortable and start to see what campus looks like and interact with our current students. We're also continuing to offer a virtual tour with current students. So if families can't travel, if they're from out of the area or they're not comfortable coming to campus, we absolutely can still connect with them and show them what campus life is like. We're anticipating that campus life is going to return to a more typical experience here in the future. So we're definitely willing and able to show students what the virtual experience looks like and what the on-campus experience looks like. So I think for students who are looking in the future, hopefully this spring we'll have an opportunity to get them on campus even more, but they can definitely still do those initial fact finding and finding which schools might be the best fit for me, right now as well. That's absolutely doable.
Kelly Flemming with us. She's from the undergraduate admissions department at Oakland University, with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. And Kelly, for those that are going to be on campus and are coming back this fall, what programs are in place for them, given the pandemic is still going to have an impact on their college life and their education? What's going to be new at OU for these students?
Yeah, campus life is going to look a little bit different because we'll all be in black and gold Golden Grizzly masks when we're on campus. We'll be social distancing, but there's still going to be programming for students. We still have students coming to the residence halls. Our Office of Student Involvement is still working to provide really great campus programming for students. Like I mentioned, we still have student services available in person and virtually as well. So students will be able to hopefully connect with anyone on campus they would have before, just at a more socially distant experience. But our goal is that, we want students to be able to learn from one another, interact with their faculty. We want them to be able to kind of gain all of those skills and experiences while they're on campus with us. So we'll be looking to still do those things. It'll just look a little bit different for the time being.
Kelly, one last quick question before we let you go. Can students still enroll for the upcoming semester?
Absolutely. We try to be as flexible as possible with students always, but we know this year especially students really, are taking this decision for college really seriously and what's going to be the best fit for them and what's going to be the safest option for them, and we want to support them in that. So we did go test optional for freshmen for fall 2020. So students need to send us an application, which is free, and a high school transcript, and we can still admit them if they haven't applied with us previously. We're still assisting students through the orientation process right now. Classes don't start until the 3rd of September, so we have a little bit of time to do that. And we're also assisting transfer students right now. There's, as students are trying to figure out what their schools are doing, if they've met their credit maximums at the community colleges and things like that, we'll be helping students enroll as transfer students as well for fall. So all the way up until the start of classes, we can help a student.
We thank you so much. Kelly Flemming, Senior Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Oakland University.